In 1981, I had a near-death experience that changed my life forever. It was a routine visit at the dentist office that my mom had taken me to. I was at the age of 14 years old. And they gave me sweet air because I was feeling pain. And then I was feeling more pain, so I was kept pulling the dentist away. I heard him say to the assistant, turn up the nitrous oxide. And about 30 seconds later, I felt myself floating out of my body. Now at the ceiling, looking down, and I'm like, hello, hello, can you see me? Can you hear me? And then I went through the ceiling of the dentist office, up into the sky, and up into this tunnel. And then I was being pulled really fast through the tunnel, and it was very long and windy. And then came a pinhole of light, and it opens up into a tremendous, magnificent sky, a beautiful sky, incredible. And then I'm slowly turning to the right when I see these gates, these golden gates, miles high and miles wide, and I start floating through it. And I was going through a field. Every plant, every leaf, every tree was perfect. And they keep going on and very, very long and beautiful. And you just take in all this feeling of love and the feeling of I'm home. Then I'm being pulled through this garden. The garden is second to none. Every flower, every rose, every petal was magnificent. Far in the distance was an angelic being, no wings, coming slower and closer to me. And when she was near me, through the mind, not through talking, she said, follow me. And she's pulling me by vibration, not by touch. And we're drifting now through the garden. And she takes me to a scenery that looks like a park. And then she goes away and she just keeps going. And in my mind, like, where are you going? Don't leave me, because I felt comfort with her, like I knew her. And I see these two elderly looking people from behind, and they turn around and they look really, really good. And they're my grandparents. My grandma, who died earlier that year, and my grandfather, who I never met. And I says, Grandpa. And he looks at my grandmother and goes, hello, Sonny. And I says, Grandma. And she didn't look happy to see me. She says, go back. And he says to her, what's Philip doing here? And I wanted to stay with them, because when you're on that side, you can feel all the beauty, all the perfection, all the love. It's 1,000 times greater than we experience here on earth. And I wanted to stay because I felt like I was implanted back home. And as she told me to go back, I was pulled backwards into this tunnel very, very fast. And I kept thinking, I don't want to go back. I remember being stopped in the tunnel and pulling myself through thought back to heaven. And as I was pulling myself back to heaven, and I seen this tremendous, beautiful sky, once again, I was pulled backwards into the tunnel, going really, really fast. And I was pulled into a hospital where they were working on me. And I remember gasping for air and breathing really heavy. And the first person I seen was my mother. I wanted to explain where I thought I was. A couple days later, when I was back at home, and I tried to explain to my parents that I was in a place that I believed is heaven. Now, this is 1981, and it's hard for people to comprehend that your teenage son is in heaven. There were no TV shows or things to that nature that I would remember. No internet, just what you would learn in church. So I felt like I was lost, but I knew where I went was real and was true. I felt it with my body and my soul. There was no doubt in my mind. And it changed my life forever. And I make that statement because I had a spiritual awakening of myself. And time went by, and I remember telling friends I was in heaven, but no one believed me. A year later, a year had passed, and I put this behind me. It was a beautiful day in Staten Island, New York. I'm in the backyard, and I'm looking up at the sun, and I was like, God, if I was in your home, please give me a sign, because I know I was there, but I can't prove it to anybody. And my mom that day decided to take my brothers and my sisters and myself for a walk. My father was at work in Manhattan. It was a long street we lived on, and she took us for a walk. Nice, we're all happy as a family, walking, just getting some fresh air. And halfway up the block, I felt this vibration to the right side of me. It was the same vibration that I felt in heaven when I seen that angelic being. And I looked at her and I says, "You can see me?" And she says, "Yes, I can see you, silly." And I was like, "Mom, look, that's the girl from heaven." And I'm trying to tell my mom, my brothers, but they don't see her. But my older sister seen her. And she's laughing and joking with her. And I says to my sister, "You know her?" And she goes, "Of course I know her, but I don't know from where." Now, the young girl was talking to myself through the mind, but as I'm watching her talk to my sister, it was through the mouth, through verbal. And I was hearing it. And she made me feel good. She made me feel like, you asked God for a sign, I'm here. She had blonde hair, crystal blue eyes, no wings. She had blue jeans on, a shirt with flowers, beautiful flowers like I've seen in heaven. And she's skipping along and laughing with us. And my mom's looking at me and my brothers and my sister and like, who are you talking to? And then about a minute later, she disappeared. And me and my older sister were looking for her. I believe that in mysterious ways, prayers are answered. And I'm thankful that my older sister was able to see her and acknowledge her. And we felt like we knew her, but we didn't know from where. Well, before I was born, my mom had lost a child at a few weeks old, a daughter that I never got to meet, of course. And it was heartbreaking for the entire family. And I believe, and my sister believes, that that was her. And we got to meet her. Heaven is real. Heaven is magnificent. And my simple words don't do it any justice because of the beauty and perfection. I get asked, "Well, Philip, did you see God?" No. I seen the light, and the light was the vibration, and the vibration of light was God. God is the light. God is the creator. God is the essence of all things that exist. It is the purity of all of us. We're in a shell. Our body's a shell, and when we leave, our soul goes on to where it came from, and I call heaven home. I believe that we have to live this journey to complete things that we wanted to learn on a soul basis before we come into the physical realm. I'm 55 years old today, and we still talk about it, me and my older sister, the girl from heaven, me crossing over, coming back, and sharing my experience. I consider myself a messenger to help, teach, and sometimes heal people that are grieving to know that there is another side. I promise you we go on, and I promise you this, that our loved ones that we miss and that we cherish and that we are so devastated and heartbroken for, that we'll think we'll never see them again, that is so untrue, because you will. To all those watching this video, I promise you that heaven is real. And have faith, believe, trust, love, and most importantly, do things for mankind. Help those along the way and straighten your soul's journey, because that goes to eternity.